Good morning. Welcome to Unity Orlando. Our opening statement this morning is God is inside me and guides my way through every moment of every day. Let's all affirm that together. God is inside me and guides my way through every moment of every day. All right, let's all close our eyes, take a nice deep breath in, and let's affirm that together in the silence. And so it is. And now if you'd like to join us, please stand and we'll sing our joy song this morning. It is called Feel the Rise of Spirit. Eagles fly with their wings spread over skies and kingdoms set. Many wise and able men feel the rise of spirit, shining eyes of jubilee, joyful cries and some believe, future wise and glory be. Feel the rise of the Spirit. Wisdom flies through children's eyes. Feel the rise of Spirit. Glory, heaven be true in me. Fly with angels' wings. In our lives a song it sings. Whisper wise many things. Feel the rise of spirit. Beat a drum if it's fun. Wake up now, it's just begun. Feel the world awaken as one. Feel the rise of spirit. Wisdom flies through angels' eyes. Feel the rise of spirit. Glory, heaven be true in me. Of spirit, feel the rise of spirit, feel the rise of spirit, feel the rise of spirit.
Good morning and welcome to Unity Orlando. Those of you who are here and those of you who are at home, if you woke up, if not, you'll be watching it a little later. We're glad to have you here. My name is Reverend Ronnie Kenny, your assistant minister, and we have some announcements for you. No visitors here today. I think everybody's familiar. We are continuing the food drive for a while anyway. You can bring in non-perishable items on Sunday mornings or Tuesday between 10 and 3. Curtis Coaxum, whose number's on the webpage, can pick things up if you need him to. And also, if you need food or you know someone that does need food, please let us know here at the office or let Curtis know. We'd love to take care of our own people first and then the food banks later if there's plenty left right now. Navigating A Course in Miracles continues on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. by Zoom with Paul and I. And if you're interested in joining us and you haven't already given me your email, I need to have that so I can email you out a link the day before. My email is on the website as well. So that's going to be a continuing course on Wednesday evenings. This week we have midweek prayer and meditation on Wednesday, 4:30 on Facebook with Susan Francis and myself, a nice midweek reprieve. So you're welcome to come at 4:30 or later. It will be posted onto Facebook as well as our website for just a nice little change in the middle of your week. A new 7-week virtual class, Keys to the Kingdom by Reverend Johannes, has been pushed back a week to March 31st in Spanish and April 1st in English. Flyers for the class are available this morning on the foyer, and information is available on the website. We need you to sign up so that we can order the materials that are needed. It's a wonderful, wonderful class. So if you're interested, it will be great to take that. As we all know, just as a reminder, Orange County requires us to wear face masks and to keep distancing, which we have plenty of room here for you when you decide to come in. And when we're down there, we will put our masks on as well. So we try to keep you guys safe and also to be compliant with the mandate. Reverend Bob's lesson this morning is Capturing the Now. But before we call him up here, we'll turn it back over to Brian and the music department.
Thank you, Reverend Ronnie. And this is a song I wrote last summer when I needed to be reminded of how to be in the presence. Some people have positive affirmations, and I make songs. So this one is called Here and Now. It's just beginning, a new life to explore, when the old life doesn't serve us anymore. It's a new one, a new path to walk, when the old one doesn't lead us to your door. Here's the beauty of it all. Love and kindness, we hear the call. Radical forgiveness, random acts of kindness, flowing through us right here and now. It may seem like the whole world is crying when the stoplight on the street lights turn red, when the city seems restless and no one gets their way. Just remember that they're always in the flow. Here's the beauty of it all. Love and kindness, we hear the call. Radical forgiveness, random acts of kindness, flowing Here's the beauty of it all. Love and kindness, we hear the call. Random of forgiveness, random acts of kindness, flowing through us right here and now. Right here and now. Right here and now. Right here and now.
Oh, that was wonderful. You still keep turning out wonderful, exquisite music. Thank all of you, every single one. Okay, well, I see we have extra social distancing here today. That's what happens when you spring forward. I got to tell you, I woke up this is spring forward, right? Got it. I got the right one. I'm not saying Merry Christmas at Easter. Okay. Am I a little loud? Or nope? Okay. I woke up this morning and I thought, boy, that was kind of a short night. It felt like, oh, well, it's time. And I got up, got ready. I was up for a full hour before I figured out it actually was a short night. My phone reset itself in the middle of the night. I sprung forward. Amazing. But it was gorgeous this morning. It always is. Early in the morning. Well, today we're going to talk about capturing the now. You know, living in the now, living in the present, being present in this moment. All of this. In the end, what I really want to talk about is experiencing life at great depth instead of the surface. And you see, so many people experience, how nice. Yes, at home you may not know what she did, but she adjusted the lighting slightly. You know, when I first moved to Orlando, I realized everyone was moving at a different pace than I was used to. I was used to small town, coastal. And for some reason, it went a little slower. When I first arrived, I went, oh my God, everybody's covering so much surface as fast as they can. And I realized our challenge is to make sure we don't lose the depth as the amount of surface we cover with our lives increases. Life in the end is about the depth. It's not how much surface you cover. It's how deep you go. So, that's something that when life gets exciting and moves really at a fast pace, we got to work on. Making sure we're still experiencing it at depth. And the way you do that is to be very, very present in each moment that you're living. In general, we have a tendency to zone out on life, and we only awaken for a few moments. Those that happen to be the few times that we have delegated as, when I do this, I'll be happy. And so consequently, we agree that maybe a few minutes a year, we're going to wake up. And we're so used to being asleep, we miss those moments because we don't know how to wake up. Okay? The greatest adversary of humankind is boredom. You know, that's what everybody's afraid of. But all boredom really means is you're not awake. Were you awake, you couldn't be bored. There is so much in the depth of each moment of life that you couldn't be bored. There's these hidden, exquisite things going on at all times, and we're just not noticing them because we're trying to fly through the surface of this life. I was listening on Friday, of all things, I was listening to Science Friday on NPR. They were discussing daydreaming, something that I didn't get this, but I didn't realize this, but they claimed that adults are really lousy at daydreaming. We seem to have lost our connection. We're very good at diagonizing. You know, I mean, we're very good at going in and making a list of all that we've got to do and this and that and the other. But to actually go into our minds and create a wonderful scenario just for the fun of it and just enjoy it, we're not terribly good at, I'm told. And they were doing research on this whole concept. And so they invited in all these adults to spend an extended period of time alone with themselves. Now, this sounded like something they all thought they could do. And they got them in there and they hooked them up and they said, by the way, you know, if you zone out too much, we're going to zap you. And this is what's going to happen. You know, and they gave you a zap, you know, and you got to feel what that electrical charge was like. And they said, now, if you get too bored, you're allowed to push the button and zap yourself. They said 85% of the people who swore they would pay money to not have that electrical discharge again got so bored they zapped themselves just so they'd have something to do. Sometimes we're just not comfortable being alone with our own thoughts. And living in the now is addressing that directly. It starts when we stop this mad dash through the surface of life and take just a moment. It doesn't have to be a long period of time, but take a moment to experience this moment and how exquisite this moment really is, instead of just sleeping our way through it. Okay, let's get to the next moment, and then the next one after that. And finally, we'll find a moment that I like, and I'll try to wake up. With the emphasis on try, because if you habitually sleep, it's very hard to wake up, even for the good stuff. Being awake in life is experiencing each moment at great depth. Now, most of the time we retreat into our minds and dwell upon the past or the future. Or we dwell on analyzing what is in front of us. All of these things allow us to hold life at bay, to keep it way out there. Think about the past. Well, it's not real anymore. I'll be happy when, and we think about in the future, when I finally get to. That isn't real either. You may or may not ever get to that. The world may change before you get there. But we're so attached to past and future, and they're illusions. They aren't. And the only thing that's real is what's happening at this very moment, and that seems a little boring to us, which means we're asleep. Past and future rob you of your present. And we need to understand this right now is the best time of your life. This is the best time of your life because it's all that's real. The rest of it's smoke and mirrors. It's not really there. All you've got is now. And that's what makes it the best time in your life. In Luke 23, 42 and 43, Jesus said, well, actually it says, he said to Jesus, we're getting toward Easter. We're honing in on this. So these are the two thieves. And the one talked about the future, and then this one, no, the one talked about the past. Can we go back and make things the way they were? And the other one looked to the future and said, well, somewhere down the road. This is him. He said to Jesus, remember me, my Lord, when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus said to him, truly I say to you, today you shall be with me in paradise. Jesus basically says, pull it back out of the future. Pull it back out of down the road, I will be happy. Today you'll be happy. Today, right now. Pull yourself back into what's happening now. You know, sometimes we think of living in the now, being present, celebrate the temporary, all these terms that refer to this concept. Sometimes we think of them as modern ideas. But Jesus was addressing the same concept over 2,000 years ago. Okay? Today, pull your consciousness back into today, not tomorrow. Today. In Luke 12, 19 through 20, he's telling a parable. It says, a man will say to himself, soul, you have many things stored up for many years. Eat, rest, eat, drink, and be happy. But God said to him, O you short-sighted man, this very night your life will be demanded of you. Live your life as if it's your last day. This is not a new concept. Now, it was pointed out to me this morning that what's so wrong with eat, drink, and be merry? Aren't we supposed to be happy? Yeah, but I I didn't read you 10 paragraphs. And basically what's going on here is he's saying, we think we got plenty of time. I can work on this spiritual thing later. I got plenty of time. Saying, no, you need to treat this like this is your last day. How many times have you looked at someone and thought, I'll tell them how much I love them on another day? And he's saying, you just might not have that other day. You better do it today. You better do it now. Treat it like this is your last day. You say, but what if it isn't? Then you just lived a really good day and you get to do it again tomorrow. Live your life as if it's your last day. Jesus said it. Matthew 26, 38 through 41. Jesus said to his disciples, now, we're doing this whole thing. This is the Garden of Gethsemane, just prior to the arrest, and then we're doing the whole Easter thing. Here we go. Jesus said to his disciples, wait for me and watch with me. And he went a little further and prayed. And then he came to his disciples and found them sleeping. And he said, so you were not able to watch with me even for 1 hour. Awake and pray. Wake up and be present with me, he's saying. Now you got to imagine when the disciples looked back on this moment, and it was the last time they spent with the Master, and they let themselves go to sleep. If you're treating this day like the last day of your life, you don't let yourself go to sleep. You experience the exquisiteness of every single moment. So I'm going to suggest now several suggestions. I'm going to suggest suggestions. Imagine that. Okay, suggestions for capturing the now and living life at depth. Number one, and we've just been dealing with it. Live each day. Yeah, you need to change that. I've got life each day. Live each day as if it is your last. You know, this is Jesus in this parable. You know, the guy says, hey, I got lots of time. I can deal with that important stuff later. No, don't deal with it later. Don't put it off. Live each day as if it's your last. Change your thinking about what you're doing and decide to enjoy it. So often, the reason that we're saying, I can sleep through this day is I'm doing something that I'm not terribly fond of, okay? But if you knew this was your last day on earth, you'd choose to enjoy it. It'd be too important to waste, even if you're doing mundane stuff. You choose to enjoy it fully. So change your thinking. Instead of, I just wish this were over. Maybe I can sleep until I'm done. Whatever. Say, I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing. You can choose to enjoy it. Declare to yourself that you don't have time to waste. Particularly, you don't have time to waste on anger, fear, frustration, and disappointment. I look back at my life. Those things robbed me of so many things that were so many exquisite experiences. You look at life and you say, I've got a whole bunch built up, like the parable, right? I can put it off. And then suddenly your life is over, and you realize that anger, fear, frustration, and disappointment have been the ruling qualities. You don't have time for that. This life is too valuable to waste it on anger and fear, frustration, or disappointment. So, how do you claim the day? Tell others how much you appreciate them and how much you appreciate the things they do. And tell it as if it were your last chance. Don't put it off because you're going to see them tomorrow. Tell them now how much you appreciate them. You say, well, then what am I going to do tomorrow? You're going to tell them again. Or you're going to tell them something new. Look for the hidden blessing in every moment. There's a hidden blessing. There are things we are not noticing that are exquisite everywhere we are, in everything we go through. If you pay enough attention, you can find it. There's actually an interesting movie that's out on Amazon. It's called The Map of Tiny Perfect Things. And it's based on the old Bill Murray Groundhog Day movie, right? They're living the day over and over. And only we got teenagers now, and they're not quite sure why, And in the end, there's two of them who turn out to be awake in this thing. And they finally get together and decide, you know, there are these perfect, exquisite moments where something happening that's really neat, really amazing. And maybe if I can find all the perfect moments in this day that I keep reliving a million times, maybe we'll get out of it. And what are these perfect moments? Well, one of them's as simple as they are standing there looking, and there's a man sitting on a bench waiting on a bus, and a bus drives up behind him with a picture on the side, and it stops, and they're standing there looking, and the man has wings growing out of his head. They go, look, that's neat. That is so neat. Just at this moment, at this time, what a picture. And another one, they're at the pond, and an eagle has dropped and picks up a fish and goes off. And they went, wow, you don't see this all the time. This was a special moment. And then it was an encounter with someone, or this or that or the other. And basically, they were looking for all these special, exquisite moments in the day. Now, that's capturing the now. If you look and if you pay attention, you can find something amazing in every moment. So it's throughout your day, do you stop for it doesn't take long, just to look around and say, what is gorgeous? And find it. What is unusual? What is amazing happening around me right now? There's so much we're ignoring. You just pay attention and look, and you suddenly go, whoa, that's neat. And now you're ready to move on. And then you're going to stop later and notice, again, something exquisite, something wonderful, something amazing about life. And if you go through your day finding those, what did they call it? Tiny perfect things, life gets so much richer. So if the first one is live each day as if it's your last, which means every moment is important. The second is intensify your experience of the moment by using super awareness as often as possible. What do I mean by super awareness? When you are driving and you're going very fast, don't you suddenly move your awareness into hypergear. Suddenly it's like, ooh. You're extremely aware because your life depends on it. And that's what I mean, in a sense. Wherever you are, move into hypergear. Become very aware because you're ignoring most of what's going on around you. You're not noticing it. Notice everything you can. Intensify your awareness. Notice the color, the shape, a person, a landscape. Notice everything that's going on around you. Don't just say, yeah, it's a red sweater. For a moment, sense the redness. What a neat color that is. The blue. The feeling in the air. Morning. I'm not a morning person, so on Sundays when I have to be, oh my God, it's exquisite. And I make the commitment every single week. I think I'm going to get up and see more of this. And next Sunday I do it again. Anyway. But you can notice how exquisite the feeling in the air is, the colors, the shapes, the forms, the architecture, how exquisite a person is. When I was working on my heart, one of my exercises was that I'd be talking to someone, And if the conversation would lag just a little to where I could, I'd zone out on what they were saying, and I would just concentrate on them and who they were and what the texture of their being was and feel how exquisite they were. And then I joined the conversation later, and I often found I hadn't missed much. But I had experienced something really wonderful by experiencing who they were. You look out at a landscape and, there's trees. Or, wow, isn't that stupendous? So that's called hyper-awareness or super-awareness. And once we become super-aware of life right where we stand, the next step is, can you walk around in that super-awareness? Just try it. Just see how long you can maintain. It doesn't have to be very long. A little bit of time in this space is amazingly rich. Third suggestion. Focus on what you're doing right now. We don't do that. We're always 3 steps ahead. Have you ever driven down the road and go, I don't remember the last 15 miles? Oh. Many years ago, I received a phone call early in the morning after being up till 3 or 4 at 6 o'clock. I've got this phone call, and it's some stranger. Some girl decided she didn't have a way to go to work, and so she got out the list of ministers and started calling because she thought one of them's bound to agree to drive me to work. And I agreed because I had to see who it was who had the gumption to do this. But I am really lacking on sleeping hours. So I got up and, I'm going to chemically handle this problem. I go to get the caffeine pills. Instead, I grab the antihistamines. So by the time I pick her up, I am getting really drowsy. There were 3 separate times that she says, what are you doing? Where are we? And I woke up and went, how'd I get here? Yeah, she never called again. She thought she was taking her life in her hands to get taken to work by me. But that's how we do life a lot. We wake up and say, how'd I get here? How'd I get here? So let's focus on what you're doing right now, and you'll know how you got there. We live in the age of multitasking. And I understand that is a great skill. But we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater here because we're losing our ability to focus. To hold one focus over an extended period of time is amazingly powerful. That's why concentration is one of the steps in meditation. It's amazingly powerful. We've got Jesus coming back to the disciples and saying, focus on praying with me. Hold your focus. So, focus on what you're doing. Don't just let your mind wander all over the place and so you can be distracted while you get through this. Focus. In the Mantra Handbook, which was written by a man named Des Warren, he says, one of my favorite quotes, I have a number of favorite quotes, but this is one of them. When digging a well, you don't dig 3 foot down in 100 places. You dig 300 foot down in one place. Are you willing to give something the focus of your life. Remember Jesus' parable that which he said, we can put this spiritual stuff off till later. I got plenty of time. Saying, no, are you willing to hold your attention on the spiritual qualities that you want in life? We live in the age of fast food and fast illumination. I call it spiritual fantasy because very often it's just people pretending they're illumined. Are you willing to put in the work for the real thing? That's the question, because my extreme disgust with spiritual fantasy is I believe in the real thing. Obviously, you've given up on it if you're going to create fantasy. Spiritual experience is very real, and it's work what is worth whatever work you got to do on yourself to get there. I spent 7 years working on my heart at one point. I was a head person. There's nothing like a convert. Now I'll tell you, heart's all that matters, right? Even though my head is still very much engaged. I spent 7 years working on that side of life. You say, wow, you're a slow learner. Yeah, I probably am. But I will tell you it was worth every day of those 7 years to have held that focus for that long. It awakened things in me that have served me ever since. So, could you choose a spiritual quality and dig in for an extended period of time? Can you focus on healing, love, guidance, light, success, joy, you name it, it's yours? Can you focus on a spiritual quality until it's real inside of you? Learn to focus on what you're doing right now. This moment. Number 4, open your heart to feel more in whatever moment in which you find yourself. We live in a society that's very mental oriented, okay? But the problem with thinking is thinking keeps life at a distance. It's out there. There's this huge disconnect between what's going on in here in the analysis and what's happening out there. There is a coldness to it. Thinking, you drift into past. Thinking, you drift into the future. Thinking, you drift all over the place. So how do you center in the now? It's feeling. Feeling is centered in now. Okay? So bluntly, the more you feel of everything you're encountering, the more you are experiencing the depth of the moments of life you're going through. Feel more of everything you encounter. Set your sights on feeling more in every experience. In Matthew 13:15, Jesus said, "The heart of this people has become hardened." The heart of this people has become hardened, and they hear with difficulty, and their eyes are dull, so that they cannot see with their eyes or hear with their ears, and understand with their hearts. Well, yeah, our hearts are dull. Our hearts have been hardened. We're in our minds an awful lot. So, you want to live in the now? Feel life. Feel whatever's going on. Don't just do it in your mind and hold it at a distance and analyze it. Feel it. Immerse yourself in it. Stop on a regular basis throughout your day just to feel as much as you can from everything around you. And the last one, number 5. Practice being in this moment rather than doing or thinking about it. Now, there's a skill that is becoming archaic. Learning how to be. So, stop for a moment and be wherever you are. Be sitting here. Be walking down the street. Be getting into the car. Whatever it is you're doing, be there. You say, I'm not sure I know how to be. Then be your breath. Just breathe for a moment and be that breath. Feel your body. Be in the midst of your surroundings. Notice everything. Timelessly be alive. Being is pulling back out of this time thing. In meditation, that's where we first probably experience that sense of total timelessness. You don't know how long you were gone. I was just in this timeless state of being, so do it regularly. And practice, take a moment to be grateful. You said, for what? It doesn't matter. You don't even need an object. When you get good at it, you can just be grateful. I suppose you're being grateful for everything. But you're just being grateful. So take a time to be grateful, to be joyful, to be in love. Even if it's being in love with nature, but to be in love. Take a time to be one with everything around you, to be in harmony. Harmony is a state of being, not a state of action. Feel that beingness of harmony. And all of it leads to the big one. Take time to be in God's presence. You're in God's presence all the time. We're just not noticing. Take time to be in God's presence wherever you are, whatever you're doing. So, life is amazingly rich, every moment of it. We can sleep through this life and experience it only on the surface. Or we can wake up and become intensely aware of life in this moment and in every moment that follows. This era of your life can either be something to avoid until you can get to a better place, or it can be the best era of your life. Why? Because you're experiencing it fully. We can waste life on anger, fear, stress, or disappointment. And that is a true waste of life. And we generally waste it that way because we believe there's so much on either side of now. I got so much time. Everything is so wonderful. You know, this is going to go on forever, and we're back to Jesus' parable. I can do whatever I want. I can goof off because Life goes on forever. And oh, you short-sighted human, tonight you're leaving. Boy, does that change the perspective. So, we can choose to waste our life with anger, fear, stress, or disappointment, or we can realize I don't have time to waste, and I am going to wring every ounce of goodness out of the moments that I have in front of me right now. We can sleep through it all, or we can wake up and be astonished by life in every moment. It's a choice that each of us is making every moment of our lives. And I urge you to live life awakened. This is the best day of your life. I know there are people who are going to say, oh, no, it was thus. It was, and it hasn't happened yet, or at least I hope it hasn't, because none of them have been that good. But, the bottom line is we want to include past and future. This is the best day of your life because it is the only day that you're living right now. And all you really have is now. The rest is an illusion. It's a fantasy. And life is real. So let's take a moment to relax, to center ourselves. Peace. Be still. Bring all your energies in. Image yourself drawing all of your thought energy from the far reaches right to the center of your being. And focus on being here in this moment. Be the breath. Feel your life, your body breathing. Feel the flow of breath. Feel yourself sitting in this room. Be right here, right now. And enjoy the specialness of this moment. I am a spiritual being. Living in a physical body, walking through a physical life, but I am so much more. And here at the center of my being, I know who I am. But I'm also here in this world. I came here to be in this world. So supercharge your awareness. Hear every sound. Be aware of the presence of those who are sitting around you. The sounds coming inside from out on the street. Feel the presence of nature surrounding where you're sitting right now. Maybe surrounding your house, surrounding this church. Be aware of the blue sky. the endless reaches of the universe. The little things that happen, like the acceleration of that car out there on Pope Road. It's all part of life. And each thing in its own way is astonishing. So right now, feel everything you can. Feel life all around you. Feel yourself sheltered, cradled in the arms of life. Now take a moment just to be in the presence of God, right here, right now, in this moment. I am in the presence of God. And I am timelessly immersed in peace and harmony. I am alive, and I love life. I am grateful. For this moment. I am grateful for my life. For life is rich and full. And every moment has its hidden blessings to find. Father, for this adventure that we call life, we are immensely grateful. Thank you, God. Amen. If our usher will come forward, we'll prepare for our offering. And you at home can prepare for your offering too. Choose what amount you're going to be donating. And let's see, how do we do that? At the end of service, you'll go back to the home page and hit on the Donate Now button. You can use a credit card or PayPal. And or you can pull our address off of the website and send us a check in the mail. Or you can call Linda and set up regular offerings if that's too much work. So in either case, there's always a way that you can contribute, and your contributions are the things that are keeping us going. We are immensely grateful. So realizing that, somewhere here I have the right thing. We're going to hold our offering in our hands. At home, you're going to hold the thought of what you're going to give. In either case, we're going to affirm together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. Thank you, God, that we truly live in the midst of thy abundance, each of us individually, and as this thy church, Unity Orlando. Amen. Turn it back over to Brian.
All right, thanks, Reverend Bob. And here's a song I wrote called In the Presence. I guess this was a while ago. I was thinking around 2010, something like that. In the still of a journey, in the silence on the path, there's a quaking in my heart with a love that will last. We give thanks and rejoice in the loving that starts in the presence of a presence that we all are a part. And we still feel connected when we may not be near. There's a truth in the ages that's to drop all your fears. We give thanks and rejoice in the loving that starts in the presence of a presence that we all are a part. There's an awakening happening and drawing us near to the truth of an existence and why that we're here. We give thanks and rejoice in the loving that starts in the presence of a presence that we all are a part. We give thanks and rejoice in the loving that starts in the presence of a presence that we all are a part. We give thanks and rejoice in the loving that starts in the presence of a presence that we all are a part.
Bob, you're not on. No.
Take it you couldn't hear anything I just said. You could, but they couldn't. Yeah, I told him he was okay. Thank you to everyone here who has contributed to make the music very special. Okay. Be safe. And today, more than anything, live your adventure. That sort of was the message of the day. Thanks for supporting Unity Orlando, for being a part of us. Next Sunday, Reverend Johannes will be speaking on Keys to the Kingdom, a Spiritual Challenge. Should be a wonderful talk. It'll stand alone, but it's also an intro to the online course that she's conducting, Keys to the Kingdom. Okay, so I think you'll enjoy it very, very much. So let's all rise, and we're going to do the prayer protection together. Together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. See you next week. Oh, don't leave.